Tonight's a special night on the island. UNVRS, the new hyper club, is opening. If we backtrack just a few years, when Space had their closing party, I refused to buy a ticket because I think the tickets started at €100, which back then was absurd. Nowadays it's obviously normal, but back then €100 for a ticket to enter a club in Ibiza was ridiculously expensive, and no one had ever seen it before. So I refused to pay the €100. Then the ticket prices, as the event went on, obviously it went on for like 48 hours, it got higher and higher, and people were paying €250 to get in the end. But I didn't end up going, and at the time I was watching people's statuses all the time, people's stories, and I was just saying, thank God I didn't pay that much to go. However, fast track a few years to now, and not only now, but over the last few years, I've sort of regretted not going to the Space closing party, because I felt as though, well, at the time it felt like an end of an era, and now looking back, it actually was the end of an era. It was the end of that era where you could be on the dance floor and be at the same level as the DJ. There was no DJ booths in the air, or overly priced VIP tickets, or stuff that the island's full of nowadays. I thought, you know what, I missed the end of that era, so how about I pay for a ticket to see the start of a new era? So we're on our way to UNVRS right now in Ibiza, and it's their opening party tonight, and I've got just a normal standard entry ticket, €150. It opened at 11 o'clock, so there should be people in there now. It's now 5 to 2. We'll see what happens when we get there. There is police, Guardia Civil, everywhere, literally everywhere. As I was coming in, they were stopping the cars, looking inside the cars. They had a field day looking inside here, actually, because they must have thought, what the hell? Literally, I've never seen so many police and Guardia Civil in one place. And there's loads of stewards directing you to park your car, as if you can't park your car. We are going to get out and have a look. So we're back in the car. The only way I can describe that, if I had to describe it in one word, industrial. And I'm really, really glad to say that, actually, because that was one thing that I really, really liked about Privilege, that it was just had like a proper industrial feel. Privilege felt bigger when you were in it. It felt as though the ceiling was higher, but you still get that industrial feel. Privilege looked and felt much bigger on a bigger industrial scale. However, it's still got that industrial feel, but just a little bit smaller. But it's still big. It's still the biggest. You still get the feeling that you're in the biggest one on the island, definitely, for sure, 100%. It's definitely got that high sense of feel as well inside, so it's very pristine. There's like an area where you can go in called the Wild Comet, if you like. It's got sort of like a feeling of like the Wild Corner in High, like that sort of feeling. Toilets all the way around the edges with the DJ in the middle. it's sort of like got like an underground type of feel, because you have to sort of go down the steps in the main room, take a left or a right, whichever side you're on, and go back on yourself, and then you end up in the Wild Comet. The cool thing about that room is Wild Comet is the acronyms, is that the word, is WC, Wild Comet, which is the letters for toilets, and it's also the same letters in high, which is WC, which is Wild Corner. So that was cool. I like that sort of little nod to themselves, if you like, because it's the same owners. The main room, I went into a few different places. I stood on the right-hand side of the dance floor, sort of a little bit to the back. That was all right. It got a little bit warm there though, so I moved forward and I got like pretty much right, like quite at the front. Not right at the front, because people were, it was a bit sort of sardines, like right at the front. So I was probably about like, I don't know, maybe 8 or 9 rows, if you like, 8 or 9 people behind from right at the front. That was a better place to stand actually, because every now and again they let off the dry cannons, should I say. I don't know whether it's dry ice or whatever it is, but that comes down and it sort of rains down on you, sort of thing, rather than spraying straight at you like that. It doesn't have that in UNVRS. It sort of rains down on you, quite like a misty, sort of quite elegant, if you like, sort of comes down. No noise either, but that gives off like a really cool temperature, which is nice at the front. Then there is a garden area where you can go out. That bit's sort of very, very chilled. There's like a bar at the end, but everyone's sort of just hanging around, having a cigarette, having a chat. It's not very loud in there. There's no outside. There's no music, if you like. I think there might be some speakers, but then that's not the main part of that area. It's just sort of like a chilled area where you can go out and have a cigarette, have a little drink, and you can also talk your tits off if you want to. There's a food court. I went into the food court, and you can actually go down. As soon as you walk in, it's to the right hand side. You see the sign, it says food court. Go down there, that's pretty cool. They play music in there, and it's quite loud in there, the music. But you're basically in a takeaway place, but like a fancy takeaway place. And there's like an area where you can sit down, you can have food, you can have a drink, and you're just in a very, very fancy takeaway place. Food court, they call it. The menu, took some footage of the menu. Have a look at the prices of that. You've got some sort of, I don't know whether it's wings or dippers or something. You get 5 of them, and they're €80. I mean, I didn't see them come out, so I don't know what they look like. But €80, wow, that is insane. Like, do you get like a bucket full, or something like 5 or something like that? I mean, how big are these dips or the chicken wings, whatever they are? They want to be like the size of a chicken each one, because €80, whoa, that is insane. Mayonnaise is $2.50, and then on the other side you've got the burgers, and they were like in the like 23, 24, 25, 26 euros. I don't know if you get fries with that. Probably not by the looks of it, but I don't know. That's a lot of money. But that's a cool area actually. You can sit down, you can listen to some loud music and have some food. Now, if you had to come out of here, out of UNVRS, and go and get some food, you wouldn't be able to, because the area where it's at, there's nothing around it. If you come to UNVRS, I'll sort of show you a little bit of drone footage from my previous video that I posted. If you come to UNVRS, there's nothing in the surrounding area really. There's just UNVRS. So if you're in there and you're hungry, you've got no choice really. You're going to have to go down to the food court and pay 25 quid a burger or 80 quid for some wings. But if you had to come out and go and get some food, you would have to go either to San Antonio, or you'd have to go to Ibiza town, or if you want to go even further, to Playa d'Embossa. So you'll have to get a taxi to those places, which are going to cost you probably more to come back. And I don't even know if you're allowed to go back in either once you've come out of UNVRS. You're not tonight. So that's me done for the night. 5:25 in the morning. You're going to get, in about half an hour, you're going to get the sunrise ticket holder people coming in. But I don't even know where they're going to go, because it's absolutely rammed in there. I mean, if I was to stay there, if all them people in there stay there, I don't know where all these sunrise ticket holders are going to go. But they've got a very industrial feel in there. And my favourite place, to be honest, as soon as you go in, you are at the top of the steps. And then you go down the steps to get onto the main dance floor. In my opinion, the best place in that nightclub, in the main room, is halfway down the steps. Halfway down the steps, stay there. Obviously, as long as you've got to get yourself a drink, whatever, stay there, and you can see you've got the best view of the club. And in my opinion, that is the best. It's the best place to be because you can see the whole club. You can see all of the features of the club, which are sort of like these 5 industrial platforms in the air that have got screens, LED screens on the bottom half of them, and they move up and down and sort of give you a different feel. So if you're on the dance floor underneath them, when they're at the highest point, they're quite high, and then when they sort of come all the way down to their lowest point, you feel like you can almost touch them. I mean that you can't, but you feel like you're in a small room, but you're directly underneath them, and they have all different types of LED lighting shows sort of going on, features going on. That's pretty cool. And the lights in general, the lasers are pretty cool. I forgot one area actually. I forgot one area, can you believe it? The Dome. That was a cool area. When I used to go to Privilege, that area was the smoking area. You could get a drink and you could just hang out. And that's the vibe that I got from the Dome area. So it's pretty cool that they've kept that vibe going. I don't know further on in the season whether they'll end up doing something in that area, like put a DJ in there or something, but it's a very, very big area to have nothing but just a smoking area. I'm quite interested to find out what they're going to do throughout the summer, whether they're going to do anything in that area, but it's pretty cool. They've got like a bit in the middle that's sort of like plants or flowers or whatever. It looked like a spiral sort of thing going up. That was pretty cool. If you like this video, put a like on it, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell to see notifications. I'm going to be posting quite a lot of music stuff this year, and I'm having a complete revamp, if you like, of all of my social media, and it's going to change to Roberto Musician. I'm going to concentrate a lot more on my music side as well and what I get up to on the island as a musician. So anyway, thanks very much for watching the video, guys, and hope you enjoyed this one. Let me know what you thought of it below in the comments, and I'll hopefully see you in the next one. Peace.